Hello, Pastor Erling. Thank you very much for joining me today. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Mariam. I work with Pastor Kurt in the UK for Dare to Believe and Father's Church House. Today, I just wanted to have a chat with you about your ministry, how you got into ministry, and obviously you've been a missionary as well. And I just wanted to know what led you down that path? How did you know that that's what you were called to do?
Yeah. First of all, thank you for inviting me, and I'm happy to be here on this recording and platform. So how I knew it, I'll go back to my calling. When God called me, I just knew one thing, that I was called to. God said, prepare yourself to speak the word, to preach the word. So that was all what I knew about my calling in the beginning. I didn't know if I would be a missionary or whatever, pastor or evangelist. I just sensed or had a knowing somewhere that I was called also to the nations, not only to Denmark. And at that time I didn't know that I would end up in Ukraine and Belarus.
Okay. So what led you to Ukraine and Belarus?
It was I was in a Bible school. I started to prepare myself for ministering the word. So I went on a Bible school, get built up in the Word of God, and get a foundation. And then we were should go on a mission trip. And so on that mission trip, my team went to Ukraine. Actually, I didn't. I had signed up for Philippines, but I changed that. I don't know why I changed that. And then they put me on a Ukraine trip. But I was happy for that. And when I came there, something touched my heart. God touched my heart, and when I came back from that trip, I just had one prayer: God, I want to go there again. So please send me there. Okay. So actually it was by accident, you can say. Well, there's no accidents, but when you do something in the kingdom of God, when you move, when you are moving, and then suddenly you move into something that is God's plan, without knowing it, but you'll know it after.
Yeah. So how long was it before you knew that you had this calling, before you actually took the step and did, you went out there? How long was it, and what were you doing in between to prepare for it?
Yeah, then I think 4 or 5 years later,
okay,
I came out as a missionary.
Okay.
But when I came back from this trip and from Bible school, then we started a church, a new church. It was not me who started it. I was joining the one who was starting, and I became the assistant pastor. Okay. And I was that for 2-3 years, and I felt very good, and I knew that was the plan of God, and I was satisfied, and I was very thrilled being in that place. And but then my pastor asked me if I could take a group of people on a team to Belarus. Okay. We were in connection with some who did some humanitarian aid work there. So I said yes, because it was my pastor asking me. So, but actually I didn't want to go there because all what I had in my mind was Ukraine.
Okay.
So I thought Belarus is I have no heart for that. So we went there, but when we came there, something happened. God touched my heart over there. When I saw the people, I was moved in my heart, and we came home again. And after that time, something happened in my ministry. In my position, I thought, what is wrong? Because the desire to be in the church as an assistant pastor was not there anymore as it used to be. So I was only thinking of coming back to Belarus, and that led me to go over there several times in the coming year to visit them again. And then after a year, then my pastor suggested, I think it's better that you move over there because you spend too much time on the road. And I only agreed, and of course I had that prompting and knowing on the inside that this is my heart is there. So that was how I ended up in Belarus. I think I was visiting, going there 8 or 9 times during 1 year.
Okay.
And then I moved there, and I was sent out from the church as a missionary, and that was in 95.
Okay. How long were you there for as a missionary then?
Then I was there I was living there 8 years.
Okay.
In Belarus.
How did
And
you
in that
find it when you were there? I mean, the language and everything else. What were the challenges that you had?
yeah, the language was a challenge, but not, very few spoke English, so it was only Russian. But there was some of the youth in the church and in the place there that could speak English and interpret. But otherwise, I was on, and I learned by the hard way.
Yeah.
And I didn't study, which I regret, because my plan was if I was going to be there 1 year.
Okay.
But,
It's your plan and God's plan, isn't it?
yeah. So timing is many times the difficult part in God's ways, you know. We miss the times, and we cannot interpret the times. So after then I slowly picked up the language after a long time.
Yeah,
But
you speak it well though.
Huh?
You speak it quite well though.
I can get along. Yeah,
You can get.
yeah.
That's good. That's good.
Yes.
It's not an easy language to learn.
No.
No.
It's true.
So when you decided to go, I mean, I know your pastor, you say he asked you to go because obviously your heart was there. You were sort of traveling there quite a lot. But what did your family and friends think of it? Were they supportive, or did they think you were completely crazy for doing this? What did they think?
No, they were supportive.
Okay.
Of course, my family they didn't like that I was going there far away, because they knew what it meant. But they didn't. There was no hindrance.
Okay.
But the church was very supportive and for it, of course, and and friends, yeah. But my family, they of course they didn't know when they are going to see me again, and then also there has been. It was just after the fall of the communism, and there has been big troubles, and mafia was raising more and more. So it was a dangerous place, and especially for when you hear about it, when you are here in Denmark and you hear about what is happening, you think it's dangerous all over.
Yes, yeah.
So that was their worry.
Was there any? I mean, what challenges did you have when you were there? Were people receptive? Did you have any problems with the authorities, or were you free to go around and evangelize? How did it work when you were there?
The religion is Orthodox, Russian Orthodox, and so they don't like the evangelical message.
No.
Because it's like it's a little different religion. So the first day I came there, or the second day when I moved there, I was called to the office of the who was taking care of the religious affairs. And there the leader, he said that you are not allowed to preach here and teach. But he said you can get a permission. But he never gave that permission. That was the thing. So that was, and I thought, well, I came here to preach the word and teach the word. So what to do? Shall I obey man or obey God? So I decided that better obey God. And since they didn't give me the permission to legal right to preach and teach, so I just believed God for protection. And I saw that many times that he protected me. There was several times where this same religious leader, he almost had me in his hand, but God put some other people who delivered me out of his hand. That God gave me favor with other authorities. So that's very interesting.
That's good. Yeah. Were you ever frightened?
Oh, I can't remember.
Okay, right.
I think there was moments, but I didn't think of it. But many we had a lot of team coming over to visit me and the work, and they said that I was very bold.
Yeah.
I didn't. I couldn't see. But so it is something that comes natural when God is with you and protecting you, and so a lot of fear is, of course there are fear, but God, he makes you fearless when he puts you into situations.
That's good. And did you manage to actually, when you were there, did you manage to travel back home, or were you there for the entire 8 years and just spent time there?
I traveled home several times every year, sometimes twice a year, to celebrate, especially Christmas. It's a big event in Denmark. Yeah, and to see church and family. So I often traveled home. It's good to come back to the base also.
Yeah. And what was the most difficult thing, would you say, as a missionary, when you were away from home and you've obviously got these challenges going on? What was the most difficult thing that you faced, and how did you overcome that?
Yeah, it was one difficult thing was to be away from friends, church, and family, and being among people that you, I was there and I couldn't speak the language. So sometimes you were just like going and among people and you didn't understand what they were saying, and you were with yourself. So that was a challenge in the beginning. And then sometimes it was very, very tough and hard to be there. But you encourage yourself in the Lord, and I think there is a special grace with the calling, and so therefore you're when you are in a situation, you feel that. I'll not say that you feel the grace, but you don't feel the trouble that big, because the grace of God is there to help you and cover you.
Was there a particular, you said you encourage yourself, was there a particular verse or something that sort of helped you, sort of pulled you through in those times?
Yeah, I'll say there are two scriptures. The one is from Jeremiah, where it says, I'm with you, I'm putting the words in your mouth, and I give you authority today to pull down and to destroy and to build up and to plant. And then from Joshua 1, where it says, every place the sole of your foot step, I'll give it unto you, because I'm with you, and no one will be able to stand against you. Just be bold and of good courage, because I'm with you. So that's
you took that one seriously.
Yes.
Yeah, and it helped.
And because many times you see that when there seems to be a closed door, you just know that there is an open door. You just need to stand and let God.
Yeah. Was there ever a time when you were out there, or even before you went, that you questioned whether you'd got your calling right, especially if you'd sort of, obviously as a assistant pastor in a church, did you ever question sort of, am I hearing right? Or did anybody confirm this to you? Or was it just, you heard that that's what you needed to do?
When I didn't question it.
No.
Because I felt the leading of the Lord, and then my pastor he confirmed.
Yeah, he confirmed it. Okay.
And there was even confirmation by prophetic words coming to me. When I started to doubt was when I made the decision and told about it, that now I'm going to Belarus and live there. Then the fights, after some time, fight starts, because then you start to think. Sometimes it's not good to think.
Yeah, it's better to just do it, isn't it? Yeah.
You start to think.
You talk yourself out of it.
What are you going to do? What with this? What about your work? What about your income? What about this and that? And where are you going to live? And a lot of questions. And it starts to boil up here.
So you had to make quite a lot of sacrifices, really. I mean, what about income? What happened? Obviously, you can't work when you're out there. So what did you do there?
Yeah, my income stopped, of course, and but the church supported me with surviving money. So it was very little money, but over there the Danish money was quite valuable. So I could survive for little money.
But it was a big sacrifice, I suppose. You gave up a good job to go out there.
Well, I was not at that time. I was not a businessman. I was more like helping my brother, working for my brother. He had a building company, and I had a good position there. Yeah, that was a sacrifice, but actually it was not a sacrifice, because you are moved and led by your heart, and where your heart is, your life goes.
But obviously deep down you also felt that if that's what God has put on your heart, then he's going to provide, because that's what he does, isn't it? So
Yeah,
you're sort
yeah,
of confident in that. Any other
yeah.
sacrifices that you think you had to make? Or
Yeah, of course. I was. We believed very strongly in a move of God in Denmark, and when you believe in a move of God, you believe that you are involved. And I remember, I knew that the move at that time, that the move of God was just around the corner. So I had to die to that and say, okay, God, I go away from that, and but we are still having the move, waiting on the move of God, believing on the move of God.
yes, yeah, it's happening. And in terms of what you were doing out there, is there something that sort of a miracle, a healing, or something that really sort of impacted you and stands out to you in your time there? I mean, I'm sure there were a lot of them, but just to sort of condense it into one or two, was there any that really sort of made an impact on you?
Yeah, as you said, there was a lot of miracles and healing, because that was kind of the thing that opens the doors, miracles.
Absolutely.
When we preach the gospel and there are miracles, it opens the doors, because people, they don't only hear, but they see and feel the power of God. So, but what was really what I saw was and touched me and had a great impact on me was, there is a lot of gypsies in Belarus, and I have never been in contact with gypsies, and so I asked one minister, Baptist minister, once, and I said, do you see gypsies in the churches? He said, no. It's very difficult to work with gypsies, because maybe you can get them saved, but you can never get them changed. So that was the mentality. But what happened in the ministry after, I believe it was after 4 or 5 years, I ran into the first gypsy man, and he became the key to a revival. So God touched him with the fire, and he got totally changed, stopped smoking and drinking, and his family got touched, and that started a move of God. So in a year, we saw more than 500 coming to the Lord, and lots of healings, lots of deliverance and miracles, and it was like, without us doing much, we were just sharing the word. And when we start to share the word for this people, the hearts opened up, and while we were preaching, we could see that God started to deal with their hearts and do miracles and healing them. And so we had a couple of 2 years where we saw an amazing move of God. It was really revival. And I saw gypsies being changed, which I heard that they could not be changed.
It was impossible.
Actually, he became my helper, this man.
Wow.
Gypsy man, and he was even taking care of my briefcase with all my stuff and money, and so I could trust him. Yeah,
excellent. Yeah, that's amazing.
and that's a miracle for
Yeah.
yeah.
It is. It is. So, so you were out there for 8 years. What made you then? You're obviously back in Denmark now. I've visited your church well, earlier this year when we could actually travel. But you still do quite a lot of work in Ukraine. Obviously, I had the privilege of traveling with you to Ukraine in December last year, and I could see the impact, just you being there, and the encouragement that the pastors and the people there got, and the atmosphere sort of lifts. And is that why you still continue doing this, or is there another reason?
Yeah, when I came back after 8 years to pastor the church here in Denmark, I made this agreement with the church that I should have the freedom to travel there 4 times a year just to support the churches, and so I have done that ever since. And yeah, this is what keeps me moving on, is to see that that I'm received, and not only received, but I can see that something happens in the hearts of the people. We all get encouraged, we get lifted up, and every time when I go home from there, it's like then I go home with peace in my heart and with a satisfaction, like okay, the mission is fulfilled. It's like you are coming with a bag of things, and like you have delivered it now. So yeah, that's.
So you still get encouraged yourself as well as encouraging them. So it lifts you and your spirit as well, is it?
Exactly. I get yeah. I don't know how to say it, but I get refreshed, even in my spirit and my soul, and fresh revelation. So.
Well, as I said, I've seen it, and I know it's a blessing to them, and they kept saying it. So it's great that you still do that. In terms of your expectations of what this sort of ministry would be like, is it everything that you imagined it would be before you went, whether it was good or bad? You know, how was it different, your expectation to what you actually saw and what happened? How was that different?
I don't know how to describe the difference, but it is like this, that many times things are different than what we expected to be. But I found out that it's not worse than the expectation. It's God always surprises, and that's what I've seen, that I can expect one thing, but God is always adding on and making it more beautiful and better.
So you weren't there thinking, this isn't what I was expecting, get me out of here. That's not what happened.
No, well, maybe moments, but I have got these moments. But
that's good. That's good. I think sometimes our expectations of what, certainly when I went to do some mission work a couple of years ago, it certainly wasn't what I was expecting. It wasn't harder, and it wasn't definitely not easier, but I was expecting something different. But it was a case of putting that expectation to one side and just allowing God to sort of lead you and to sort of step into what he's asking you to do. But I would say that I just sort of looked around and I thought, this isn't what I was expecting. But it wasn't worse or better, but as you say, it was very different. It was very different.
Yeah. So sometimes, you know, come to a closed door.
Mm.
And of course, you can start to complain and
Yeah.
over the situation. But I learned one thing. I'm still learning because it's a difficult lesson to learn, that to stay positive and not focus on the negative and on the close things, but knowing that there must be an open door somewhere.
Yeah.
God can turn around the things. So I've seen that many times, and there you need to have a positive mind and think faith instead of saying, "Oh, nothing is going to happen here." I remember especially one time I was in Bulgaria, and we came down, and there was nothing prepared, and the pastor didn't know what to do, and so we didn't know what to do, and but we were praying. I had a team, and then we got this mentality. Okay, we are in a quite difficult situation now, but God, we expect you to do something miracle. So we start to get excited about what God was about to do, and then it happened that we came to a meeting, and God started to move in a wonderful way, and it opened the door on way.
That's good. Amazing. Okay, so as a veteran missionary, what advice would you give others who feel that they have a calling? They're still sort of in their preparation, I suppose, phase, and maybe even questioning, wondering whether that is the thing because it's taking time. What would your advice be to anybody who thinks they've got a calling?
My advice would be, of course, pray for that nation or area, and even if there are some works, missionary works, you can even with your finances support, because it will help. And then another advice is that when God he speaks, it's always by faith, and I learned to test the water. That I'm not jumping on the water, but I'm taking small steps, and I can then I start to feel that this is safe. It's safe for me to walk there, and so that was actually what I felt about Belarus and Ukraine.
Yeah.
That this water will hold me on the surface. I will not. So because someday they make the big jump without the assurance, but you can take small steps, and knowing on the inside that God is confirming this, and that makes you confident.
Okay, so it's basically like sowing a seed, what you're saying, even before you take that big step to pack up and go out there. So it's just little things that you can do before you go.
Yeah.
Okay, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you want to share? Yeah.
So I don't know who is listening here, but I just feel that the healing power of God is here to heal. So there's someone who has problem in the back or with the kidney, but the healing power of God will touch you and heal you. So I just pray for you and believe that God is moving in your life and doing new things. Hallelujah.
That's great. Thank you very much for that. And thank you for your time. I know you're very busy, but thank you very much. It's great encouragement, actually, I think, for people to listen to people like yourself who've done this sort of thing and are successful, and you're so passionate about it as well. So yeah, brilliant. Thanks very much. And hopefully, all being well, and the world opens up again, we should see you next month in Denmark. We're looking forward to it.
Yeah. Thank you very much. It was an honor and a privilege to be with you here today. So thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you, and you. Take care.
Thank you. Yeah, you too.